Help support our coverage with a free account on Privacy, the service that keeps your bank information private when shopping online. Take control of your subscriptions and other recurring payments, plus pause and close privacy cards at any time. And get $5 right now to try the service at collision.live/privacy. Hello, Internet. I'm Scott, and this is PLUGHITZ Live Present. It's June, and that means it's startup month for us. We love featuring innovative startups from around the world, and we've got one of those startups with us here today. Hello.
Hey, what's happening?
Not a whole lot compared to what's going on behind you. Go ahead and introduce yourself for me.
Right. Hey, everybody. I'm Dan Juresco. I'm CEO and co-founder at Credivera, a technology company headquartered in Calgary, Alberta, with operations and offices now in Toronto. We're focused on verifying credentials for the workforce, using a new method called credentials, and ensuring that everybody that shows up on a job is qualified, certified, and competent to do that job. So that's a little bit about us. We're excited to be at a Collision this year and ready to make some magic.
Well, that sounds like a great goal. Obviously, having hired a lot of people, I know how hard it can be to verify that somebody is qualified for whatever it is they say they are. I mean, sometimes you ask them simple questions and they, betray themselves, but sometimes they know enough to get through the interview, and then that's the end of that. So how do you deal with this issue? How are you dealing with credentials?
That's a very good question. So the way that we operate is we sell to employers, and employers create these package requirements of verifications that are needed by the individual to provide. The individuals then issued a digital wallet that they have to submit their information around credentials, post-secondary training, competencies, sometimes as deep as background screening, criminal checks, Equifax checks, all the components that are kind of like your pre-hire environment. And what we do is we actually create a direct API link into the original sources of truth. So we verify at source. So if somebody says, hey, I have this credential for, be it a health and safety, we deal a lot with a high-risk profile worker. So we deal a lot with guys in construction, manufacturing, transportation, warehousing. So we got to make sure that the folks are qualified and certified. And they'll sometimes hold 10, 15, 20 certifications at a point in time, plus a driver's license, right? Because you have to get into a company vehicle. So we want to make sure that all those are always verified at source. So our job is to create what we call the Credivera Exchange, which is an open exchange for verifiable information. So we now have about 435 issuers on our network, some of the major background screening companies, and then we can also verify at source things like driver's licenses. So within 60 seconds, I can get you from a motor vehicle perspective, somebody's driver's license if they're qualified to do that job. So
wow.
Behind the scenes, we've created this massive network of verifiable data sets that we can bring into one common environment. But what's really critical here is that we have to teach the individual that this is their data. So we follow the regulations that are now getting changed in Canada. So PIPEDA is becoming Bill C-27, which is formulated around what GDPR has done and California state laws have done for data privacy. So we want to make sure that the person understands that they own their data, they control their data, they have the right to share their data, revoke it, and sometimes even selectively disclose components of their data. So recruiters, for example, really love what we do because they can now take this and say, hey, this person that I'm going to put forward to, Johnny to hire is pre-qualified, pre-vetted, pre-verified. So when Johnny gets even to that first interview, they already know the person's in good standing. But what if a person's now already part of your company, and let's say he's an engineer, how do you know that he's maintained his qualifications and competencies, right? Because they need to, one, pay their membership fees every year, and two, they have to do maybe 30 hours of continuous learning every single year. So in this case, imagine when the issuer, meaning the association, now actually has for the first time in their life control over that person's good standing. So if the person hasn't paid their dues, hasn't done their hours, they can get notified by the association to say, hey, get it up and going. And if you don't, we're going to suspend you. And by using our platform, the issuers can now suspend the individual, and in real time, the digital wallet creates a suspension. and then anywhere they've published it. So whether you publish it on LinkedIn, whether you pass it on to your employer's HRIS system or health and safety system or operations or learning management system, regardless of which system we pass it to, the value here is that it's one single source of truth across all, to verify the data and to manage it in a consistent manner. So when somebody shows up with a verifiable credential wallet, you know that they're going to meet your requirements because that data has been verified at source at that point in time that has been shared with you.
Gotcha. That's fascinating. Obviously, I see a couple of places. I don't know if this was what you were. If this factors into what you were talking about, but let's say I am an engineer, which I am, and I leave a company or I leave a
Yeah.
client, and maybe the client has asked for that information. Now I'm switching to another client. I can revoke the original client's access to that information when it's no longer relevant.
Yeah, so that's a beautiful part, right? So this new world of digital identity allows you to truly control your identity. So you get to own what you know fundamentally. So if I leave the company, when we decouple from each other, I get to take this digital wallet with me anywhere I go, regardless that the company is the one that issued to me. It's now just going to switch branding and it's going to go to a Credivera branding rather than the previous employer's brand. But I can take this with me anywhere I go, and by doing that, I can now present my digital wallet to my next employer so they know that I'm already qualified and certified to do this job. But the previous employer that I left from will only have access to the data up to the period of time when we work together. It will be maintained for that 7-year period of data accessibility, obviously for their own reporting internally. But at the year of completion, so when that 7-year expires, the data becomes de-identifiable. Right, so you don't even have to worry anymore about somebody holding your data past even that 7-year period of time. When I join your company, I'll give you my checking account information so you can put a check in my account. Well, imagine if when I leave, I can revoke your status of knowing my checking account information, because why should you know it, right? Like, once you've deposited the last check, you've deposited the last check, and that's done, right? So, and that's data that the employer also doesn't care to actually own, right? That's a liability on their servers, on their system.
Yeah.
So why do I need to do that?
Wow. So this gives me as the employee or me as the employer a lot of well, it takes away a lot of liability.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So incredibly important, and especially in our industry, like when you talk about the high risk profile workforce, because let's say we'll just use let's say City of Toronto, and I'm City of Toronto, and I just hired let's say Bird Construction or Ellis Dawn to build a new road for me or do an infrastructure job.
Sure.
I, as Bird or Ellis Dawn, am only as big as my company is, but I outsource a lot of my jobs to subcontractors. So imagine if you can now say, as the contract owner, I can say, by the way, here's the requirements by our client, the end client, City of Toronto, and I can pass all those requirements down to our suppliers, and my end client can actually see who are the suppliers, make sure that they're qualified, certified, and competent to come into that job site, all collectively on one single source of truth system. And that way, when it comes down to reportability, to health and safety best practices, meeting ESG responsibility for diverse workforce, for management of people on site, training, upskilling, reskilling, all those components can now come off of a verifiable system. And everybody sees just one single thing. And that's the whole beauty of this single source of truth environment that we live in.
That is really cool. In my world, I can see all kinds of places where this is useful. I know more people are going to find it useful. But before we get to that, I see your blue band, which means that you're beta. So
I'm a beta.
So where are you in your journey right now?
So we're in a I'll call it a hyperscale situation for us right now. So we just we're 25 employees. We launched our platform sub 2 years ago. We're growing quarter over quarter, probably 100% quarter over quarter right now.
Ooh.
And it's been pretty impressive. And we're about to hit a Series A here pretty shortly. So yeah, the company's doing phenomenal. an incredible executive team, to be honest, incredible team as a whole. Everybody's so cohesive. Most people call us a clubhouse because all of our team members have actually worked with each other over the last 20 years developing identity solutions, marketplace solutions, multi-sided marketplace, network-based solutions, and also have a deep understanding of identity. So this team is just super cohesive. It's incredible to see all of us grow together, and I couldn't have done it without ultimately everybody at their own divisions. So it's very much a team effort. And obviously great investors, right, that have come behind us and supported us all the way, right? So that's it's phenomenal.
Yeah, there's no way to get to where you are without investment. It's hard to, unless you're independently wealthy.
And a little bit of this.
Sure.
And a little bit of hustle.
Yeah, unless you're independently wealthy, to get to 25 employees is difficult without some sort of outside funding. What were your goals at Collision this week?
Honestly, we got approached by a lot of investors asking to get to see us a little bit and understand about us. I guess they're already cheering for us, as you can hear in the background. Honestly, our solution hasn't been seen before. We get asked a lot, who are your competitors, and we don't really have direct competitors into our market space. So that's perked up the ears for a lot of investors. It's greenfield of what we do and how we do it, and our goals were to just meet more people. Honestly, I'm also considering this a bit of a hiring fair. So I've been honestly just asking people if they're looking for jobs and kind of interviewing on the spot. And it's been phenomenal. So we're looking to expand our team. We're hoping to be 40 here in the next 3 to 6 months. And close out the year in a spectacular way. So yeah, what a good story to be in.
Yeah, for sure. Now, the last important thing is this is an interesting product that we would like to see stick around. What is what's the revenue model for you?
You know what? It's super simple. We're a tiered revenue model, SaaS based platform. So we do it pretty simply. We make sure that all the individuals, basically their credentials and everything, are managed by them, and the employer is who pays us. And it's literally less than a cup of coffee a month per employee. Okay. To some of our employers, it's as low as like 13 cents a day. Like, it's literally, dude. Yeah, I would say it's almost irresponsible to just not do it for your employees at this point in time.
Gotcha. And so for the employee,
no fees.
Is there a okay, so
not at all.
So I'm working for a company. The wallet is set up. I leave the company. I'm not yet at a new one, and I keep my data, and it doesn't cost me anything until I get into a new organ. And it doesn't cost even anything until I get into a new organization, and then they're responsible for paying for the connection.
If they want to, but if they don't want to because they don't find the system valuable for the rest of their workforce, then that's fine. You don't have to do it. So even all the employers are cheering us on right now for not billing all of them. It's upsetting. Collision is on track with Credivera.
It certainly seems like it, and it's not just going to be Collision. I know our viewers are going to want more information about the company and maybe sign up if they want to do that. How can they?
Honestly, come to our website. So credivera.com is our website. Hit us up for a quick demo, or just take a look at our testimonials, take a look at our white papers. If you're in the construction space, if you're in the HR space, if you're in the issuer space, like traditional associations, come online, hit us up for a download, and we won't harass you. But if you like what we do, you'll definitely come to us and you'll ask us more about it.
Very cool. Well, normally at this point, I would ask about your name, but your name is very clear in what it means. So I don't need to ask for an explanation on your name. So
that's fantastic.
Sometimes you're like, I don't understand the name. Can you explain it? But you are right. Credivera. Got it.
That's awesome. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you taking the time to come talk to me today. And I hope you have a great rest of the conference.
Phenomenal. Thanks for having me on your chat, on your podcast. Looking forward to more of this stuff.
Absolutely. Have a good one. All right, and that's it for that one. But we've got a lot more interviews with startups coming over the next week or so. So definitely stay tuned to the YouTube channel or on the website plughitzlive.com for all of that information.